We've all had one of these sitting on our desk at some point. A big, heavy science textbook, full of diagrams, facts, and figures. But have you ever really stopped and wondered what it's actually trying to do?
Right, so let's get into it. Is a book like this just a massive collection of facts you're supposed to memorize for a test? Or is there something more going on here? Something deeper, like a hidden architecture inside? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today.
So, we're going to approach this textbook a little differently. We're not just going to see it as a bunch of chapters. Instead, let's look at it like a blueprint. Yeah, a detailed architectural plan for building something incredibly complex and, honestly, super powerful. A scientific mind.
And hey, don't worry, I promise there won't be a pop quiz on the periodic table or anything. What we're doing here is going behind the scenes. We want to understand the how and the why of its teaching method to really uncover the philosophy that's driving every single page.
Okay, so where do we even begin to look for this hidden philosophy? Well, turns out it's not so hidden. The authors actually tell us exactly what they're up to, right in the preface and in the notes for teachers. This is where they lay out their entire mission.
Now, check out the wording here. The basic purpose is to understand and explain to others. That little addition, "and explain to others," is huge. It tells us the whole point isn't just to absorb information, it's to be able to use it, to communicate it, to connect it to our actual day-to-day lives. It's about active knowledge, not just memorizing stuff for a test.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the blueprint. The facts about, cells or planets, they aren't the end goal. They're just the tools. The real objective is to build a new way of seeing the world, to construct a mindset that approaches everything that happens around us with logic and careful thought.
All right, so if a logical mind is the structure we're building, what are the actual bricks and mortar? What are the building materials? Let's do a quick fly-through of the huge range of topics this one book covers to get the job done.
Just take a look at the journey that's laid out on the table of contents. It's pretty amazing. It literally goes from the tiniest particle you can possibly imagine, an atom, and scales all the way up to the life cycle of stars. It's this incredibly deliberate, structured journey through scale.
And this is where the construction begins, right here, at the most fundamental level possible. The textbook sets up the atom as the absolute foundation of everything in the physical world. It's the first essential building block.
Okay, so once that foundation is in place, the blueprint wastes no time. It immediately starts putting those atoms together into something way, way more complex. We take this giant leap from a single invisible particle to the incredibly intricate biological machine that is the human body.
And it doesn't stop there. The camera, so to speak, zooms out again. We go from looking at a single organism to this vast interconnected web of an entire ecosystem. See how it's all connected?
And finally, we land on the cosmic scale, a star. And this is the really cool part, notice how the book looks at a star. It breaks it right back down into its basic building blocks, hydrogen, helium. The method of thinking, that analytical process, is exactly the same whether you're looking at a giant star or a single molecule. That's the point. Okay, so we've got the philosophy, the why, and we have the building materials, the what. But how does this blueprint actually tell the student to start building? Well, it turns out it's not by sitting back and just reading. It's all about getting your hands dirty. You see, this textbook is really designed to be a conversation. It's not just talking at you. It's constantly poking and prodding, prompting, questioning, challenging you. It demands that you actively participate, not just passively read. These little phrases are direct calls to action. And here is that whole get your hands dirty idea in action. I love this. The book doesn't just tell you about fungi. No, it walks you through a simple, hands-on experiment you can do yourself. This is so important because it frames science as something you do, an active investigation, not just a list of facts someone else discovered. But the tools aren't just physical experiments. Look at the variety of these mental exercises, these little brain training prompts. Each one is designed to flex a different muscle in your logical mind. It goes from basic identification and recall all the way up to justifying your answers and doing some pretty deep analysis.
All right, so we've looked at the blueprint, we've seen the raw materials, and we've checked out the tools. So what is the final structure supposed to look like? What is the finished product of this whole educational construction project?
Well, once again, the textbook tells us exactly what the goal is. And what's so fascinating here is that it has almost nothing to do with memorizing facts. The desired outcome is a learner who can conduct simple investigations, relate processes with causes, and even exhibit values of honesty, objectivity, and cooperation. Wow, that goes way beyond science class, right?
And that's the big reveal, really. The entire structure, everything from the atom to the star, is being built for a purpose that goes way, way beyond the classroom. The real goal isn't just to make a student who knows a lot of facts. It's to build a citizen, a person who can think logically and act responsibly in the world.
So, what we've seen here is one very deliberate, very thoughtful blueprint for building a scientific mind. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. How is your mind built?